Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Bethany was an outstanding soccer player. She quit because of drugs.
Doctors saved her life.
She got a pig heart valve and a pacemaker.
But what will she do with her second chance?
Even though I've had open heart surgery, I'm still getting high.
You brought heroin on the plane with you here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she was high at my wedding.
Look at me. Our hearts are breaking, baby. You have no idea.
I know in my heart that, I'm just over it.
You use drugs today. You're over it? You're kidding me.
She's stealing money, breaking into cars, doing sexual favors.
She told me she wouldn't do that.
Where did you think she was getting the money? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. All right, I want you to take a look at some heart-wrenching photos. A beautiful young woman given a 50-50 chance of survival. After 10 days in a coma on life support, emergency open heart surgery, and another operation to put in a pacemaker, Bethany did survive. But while her family rejoiced, some were conflicted over how they felt about Bethany's second chance at life. Her sister Abby and brother Josh say maybe their baby sister dying may have been the best thing for their family. Why would they say that? Because Bethany is a heroin addict whose addiction is so serious that she checked herself out the night she was admitted to the ICU to go get high. Take a look.
Bethany's stay at the hospital was very, very traumatizing. It was just hell for us.
A couple days after Christmas, she arrived at the hospital in the ER with my mom and dad. She was extremely sick. She was knocking on death's door 100%. Her white blood count was 3 or 4 times what it was naturally supposed to be. She also had bilateral pneumonia on top of all that. She refused to be admitted, and she 100% discharged herself after medical advice. She wanted to get high. I couldn't believe it. The drug dealer dropped Bethany off. Within minutes of getting to the hospital, her oxygen levels plummeted. They moved her into ICU. She had a big apparatus that was around her face, blowing air into her lungs. They put her into a medical-induced coma for about 10 days.
People came and prayed over her at the hospital daily, every day. I was upset, mad, frustrated, because I knew why she was in the hospital.
The doctors did an EKG on her heart and realized she had a major leakage in one of her valves. The only way to really fix it was to open her chest up and physically remove it.
Bethany got a pig heart valve.
Also, the doctors end up installing a pacemaker.
The worst part of this whole thing is that this was completely self-inflicted because of her drug habit.
Sometimes I feel like it would be easier if
You were dead just so my family would stop worrying.
and so we could live a normal life without this headache of addiction.
Well, it's been a month, just a month since Bethany's discharge, but Abby and Josh say her first night home from the hospital, she snuck out, disappeared, and now refuses to tell anyone where she is.
Drugs are more important to Bethany than anything else, even herself. Bethany doesn't show respect to anybody in my family. Bethany has the nerve to use in my parents' home. One time, she had a boyfriend over while my parents were out of town, and he overdosed.
His muscles were all locked up, and my brother actually had to drag him out of the bathroom, get him into the living room floor, and do CPR until the paramedics arrived.
The fact that she would bring that into my family's home is just absolutely insane. Bethany was even high at my wedding, and she was my maid of honor. This was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, and my sister's beside my husband and I high. Bethany never apologized to me for that. She just thought it was funny. Nothing is sacred to her.
In August, Bethany's friend from childhood, also a heroin addict, died of an overdose.
Bethany went to the funeral high as a kite. She's constantly lying about who she's with and what she's doing. Bethany has a sugar daddy. He's giving her money and a phone.
Physically, Bethany's appearance has changed drastically. Her eyes have sunken in, her body shriveled up. She looks like a corpse.
I told Bethany that she was a person, and she's broken our hearts. And I just told her to get her life together. She just said and didn't talk to me anymore.
Well, her parents say Bethany was not raised to be deceitful, wasn't raised to be a drug addict, and don't want to know the person that she's become.
What are you doing?
I am about to do heroin.
The Bethany that I see now is definitely not the daughter that I want to know. Bethany and her 6 siblings had a great life growing up.
We raised all of our children to know what right and wrong was.
Bethany was an outstanding soccer player and was on her way to get a scholarship. And because of drugs, she quit the soccer team. When Bethany was in high school, she was involved in an altercation with one of her friends. She was charged with lynching. The charges were reduced to a misdemeanor, but the whole thing would have been dropped if she had have done community service and passed the drug test, but she could not pass the test at all. I feel like the guilt and the shame of having that on her record pushed her deeper into the drug scene.
As I watched my daughter on life support in the hospital, I felt absolutely helpless.
It was heart-wrenching to see your youngest lying there like that.
She was in bad shape physically.
She had a 50-50 chance to live.
I looked at her and I couldn't tell if she really realized what she'd been through and how serious it was. I issued the tough love. I told Bethany if she were to die in this situation, we would cry, we would hurt, but our lives would go on. She didn't give me a response.
We're in a dire situation here, right?
Yes, sir.
So we're going to just jump into this. Joining us via Polycom is Bethany's older brother, Josh. Josh, I want to include you right from the beginning as well. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, sir.
Clyde, let me start with you. What's your objective in being here today?
Well, really my objective is to help my daughter to live a normal life. My heart's broken. My heart's broken right now.
How do you feel towards her right now? Are you angry? Are you
Very angry.
frustrated? What are your feelings?
Yeah, frustration.
I'm angry,
Big
frustrated.
time.
I resent her for doing this to our family. Just sad.
Josh, how about you?
It's a very, very frustrating and heartbreaking to watch her go through this again.
The most challenging part, Dr. Phil, is as a family having to decide at some point when is enough enough. I mean,
Yeah.
something has to change.
What's your position? And by the way, I want you guys to be brutally honest, just straight up what you feel.
I love my daughter, and I feel like that I have loved her with every inch inside of me and done probably what my family feels like I've been an enabler to her a lot. And maybe I have in some sense, but I felt like if I didn't do what I did, that she would die, that nobody else would be there because they were so aggravated and angry with her. I don't want to enable her, and I don't want to be the bad guy.
You said, maybe I'm enabling her. I mean, let's call a spade a damn shovel here. You are enabling her.
Right.
And by the way, let's get this out of the way right up front. You're enabling her for you, not for her. You're doing it to allay your anxiety. You're doing it so you get a peaceful night. You're doing it so you feel better. You're putting your needs ahead of hers. You're giving her that money so that night you can go, okay, she's got a room tonight, or I know she's somewhere tonight that I know, and I can rest easy tonight. You've ignored the fact that you've taken her one step deeper into heroin hell.
It's so hard, Dr. Phil, to when do you do actually cut it off and say, no more at all? No more. I mean, put her out and put her on the street and say no more.
Well, look, I try to get things down real simple, and I have core values, and one of them is you just don't reward bad behavior. I mean, let's just think about that. Hey, everybody here think about that. Is that a good value? You just don't reward bad behavior?
That's a good
value. If you have a kid that writes on the wall, you don't pick him up and hug him and say, good job.
Right. We never did that.
You don't reward bad behavior. Right. So if your daughter is shooting up heroin, you don't give her $20.
That's right.
And if we get her somewhere that she needs to be and she calls you whining and crying and you cave, oh, woman.
She asked me for $20 about a week ago.
Yeah.
And I told her, and you would be happy, because I told her no.
Well, if she asks you for $20, you might as well hit her in the head with a ball-peen hammer
Right.
than give her $20.
Right.
Bethany is here, and she allowed our cameras to document her daily life, a life that may or may not shock her family to see and hear. We're going to meet Bethany after the break, and we're going to see what she does. We'll be right back.
I don't even trust Bethany.
Bethany is a master manipulator. She's a liar. She's a thief. Bethany's stolen money, purses, clothing, anything that is of value she could probably sell, she sells. When Bethany comes around, you have to hide stuff in your car keys. There's been many occasions where Bethany's taken my mother or my father's car in the middle of the night and gone to go buy drugs. Bethany denies it 100%.
Bethany just needs to wake up and realize what she's doing. She's just being a selfish idiot.
Now, Bethany allowed our cameras to document her daily life. And when I say document, we didn't encourage, we didn't initiate, we were a fly on the wall. She just did what she did, and we documented it with our cameras. So take a look.
Well, I have a scar straight down here from my heart surgery. And then I have this one here, which is where the pacemaker is now.
Even though I've had open heart surgery and a pacemaker put in, I'm still getting high. It's something that I can't control. I am not shooting heroin right now. I'm snorting it. Heroin is my #1 priority in life. I probably use about 4 or 5 times a day. When I use, it's like a warm, fuzzy hug. It numbs out the world, and the world that I live in is no good. I'm gonna go ahead and get high in the bathroom. I feel better now.
We are going to pick up some heroin right now for myself. I've got a friend that sends me money when I need it. They do not know what I use it for. I usually tell them what they want to hear. I'm just gonna get like just a couple bags. That'll last me a few hours.
How will they feel about us pulling up with the camera?
Oh no, you gotta turn that thing off. I am about to do some more of this heroin.
I have a love-hate relationship with heroin. I love the way it makes me feel, but I hate what it does to me as a person and to the people that I love. With my medical condition, it's pretty insane that I would still choose to do what I'm doing. I'm risking my life at this point.
That's tragic. That's sad. It breaks my heart to know that I've known it all along, that she puts a drug ahead of her family and the love that we have for her. It's mind-boggling to me. I understand the addictive part physically. The mental part I don't quite get for whatever reason.
It makes me angry.
She's just been out of the hospital a very short time.
Yeah, 30, 40 days.
She was in a medically induced coma.
Yeah.
I don't understand how stupid you can be. I don't get it.
And if you give her $20, it goes up her nose right now.
The doctors
I'm
that
just
operated on her
perplexed.
heart told her that when she came to her senses and was able to speak and understand out of the coma. You know, they said once they operated on her heart, that if you go back to drugs, you'll die. In 90 days, you'll be dead.
Josh, any comment?
It's just, it's heartbreaking and sad to actually see her using. Obviously, all this time we've known she's been using.
Yeah.
But
I've
to
never
watch her
seen
do
it.
it, it's actually makes my stomach hurt a little bit. But that's the reality of it. The reality of what she's doing is she's killing herself, and it's just tragic and sad.
what I just saw. I'm just amazed that she absolutely has been doing that, because she's been telling me that she's not doing anything, you know. And I just see this, and it's just like, you know, all the lies and the stealing, and
It's sickening.
it just is heartbreaking.
Hurts your heart.
Because this is not the child that I raised.
But you have to come out of your fantasy world of what you want to believe,
Right.
what you want to be true, and recognize what is true, because you can't change what you don't acknowledge.
Right, exactly.
She's telling you, I'm not using, I'm not doing anything, I'm not that stupid. And you have video evidence, firsthand evidence of exactly what's happening.
Right.
Now, Bethany is refusing to come down right now. She's insisting on changing her clothes.
I'm not surprised.
Her parents might put up with this, but I don't. We're going to take a break, and hopefully she's going to be ready to come down here so we can get down to business. We'll be right back. Okay, from being homeless and living in a crack house to using heroin inside a church, Bethany says nothing is more important to her than heroin.
When I use drugs, I'll do it anywhere. When I need to do it, I do it. I've used drugs at my parents' house. On Christmas Day, I was in the bathroom. My sister walked in on me getting high. I didn't care anymore who saw me, who knew. I've attended 5 funerals for friends that have died of overdoses. One time I used drugs before my friend's funeral. It was really crazy. The worst place I ever shot up was in a Narcotics Anonymous meeting in a church. There have been times that I've been homeless due to my heroin using. I lived with a drug dealer. It was a drug house. When you walk in, there's random people getting high. Using heroin has definitely put my life in jeopardy. I've overdosed 3 times. One time, I overdosed in a McDonald's parking lot. One of my friends told me that I was turning blue and she had to do CPR. Another time I overdosed, I was in a parking lot with a guy. He ended up having to hit me with Narcan like I was dying, if I wasn't dead already. And the Narcan brought me back from leaving Earth. It scared me, but not enough to stop. The lifestyle's pretty insane, to say the least. I shouldn't be alive, but I am.
Let's ask Bethany to join us now. Hello, Bethany.
Hey,
How you doing today?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you feeling right now?
I feel okay.
Have you gotten high today?
Mm-hmm.
How long ago?
A couple hours.
And you brought heroin on the plane with you here, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry?
insane.
Crazy you would do that.
When you were in the hospital, you were really, really sick. Do you have a full awareness of how sick you were in the hospital?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had open heart surgery, you were in a medically induced coma for 10 days, you got a pacemaker, a valve replacement. Do you have a sense that that's on death's door?
Yeah.
If you had died, would that have been okay with you?
At the time, yeah.
How do you feel saying yes to that question?
It's pretty sad and selfish.
What impact do you think that would have had on your mother?
Oh, man.
Huh?
It would have broke her heart.
And you've been telling her that you aren't using now, right? Why did you tell her that when in fact you are using?
I just wanted to tell her basically what she wanted to hear. I'm just tired of hurting people.
You were Abby's maid of honor, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a big day in your life, wasn't it?
Yeah. And she was high at my wedding. She got high at my wedding.
She was high at your wedding?
Yeah.
We didn't know that, man. I'm like the last one to ever know anything. Do you feel like that as a father or husband? I'm like the last one to know.
No, I
You're
don't
not?
feel that way.
Well, I do, man, and it's not a good feeling.
I asked her about it, and she just kind of laughed. She thought it was funny.
Why are you a heroin addict?
I mean, I didn't like wake up one day and say like, I think I'm gonna do heroin today. I think I'm gonna be a heroin addict. It didn't really work out like that, but I think I do it to like just numb
You say it numbs you from the world.
reality.
What's so painful in your reality that you need to numb yourself to it?
I don't know.
What is it?
I don't know. I've never dealt with a lot of things, so.
What have you not dealt with?
I was in like a pretty like physically abusive relationship.
Were you numbing yourself from being hurt, or were you numbing yourself from the fact that you allowed that to happen?
Both.
Let's take a break for a minute. Where else does Bethany get money to support a deadly addiction? From robbing men to resorting to things that may break her family's heart, we're going to get it all on the table, because you can't change what you don't acknowledge.
I have definitely resorted to things to get drugs, to get high. I worked at a strip club for about 5 years so that I could support my habit. It was pretty easy money. My family does not know that I was doing that. I have not ever been an escort or a prostitute, but I've done sexual favors for guys in order to get drugs. One time, me and one of my friends robbed this old man who was paying our rent, buying us food, taking us shopping, and we ended up taking 12 grand. We actually got one of our guy friends to make it look like somebody had broken into his car and took his money. I've never stolen money from my family, but one time I stole a pretty expensive purse from my mom and sold it. Worst thing I ever sold was my car. I sold it for $2,500. I've never sold drugs myself. However, I did favors for my drug dealers. I gave quite a few people rides to make drug transactions. I have a friend that gives me money now, but I don't have a sugar daddy. It's pretty crazy. I don't want to live like this anymore.
It's reality time, Mom. What are you hearing and what are you feeling?
Just heartbreaking. Just heartbreaking. You know, to hear the things that she's been willing to go to that extent for money is to support her habit.
What did you think she was doing?
Honestly, I think I just blocked it out of my mind that she wouldn't do that. She really wouldn't do that.
Where did you think she was getting the money?
I wasn't, honestly, I wasn't sure where she was getting it, but I didn't think that she would resort to that. I really did not.
Well, I know you weren't sure, but where did you think she was getting the money?
I had no idea, but I just knew that she wouldn't do something like that. And I'm just amazed. I am just totally amazed at what I just saw and heard.
You knew she was doing drugs. You know they cost money. Where did you think she was getting the money?
Honestly, the fact that what I just saw with the girls' club, I had heard that she probably was doing something like that, but I would dismiss it because I didn't think that she would do that. And I guess just in a denial that no, she wouldn't do that. And have believed everything that she's ever told me, and fought with my family. She wouldn't do that. And been on a roller coaster emotionally because I wanted to believe the best. And yet, because you love your children, but you just, you know, you think she wouldn't do that. She told me she wouldn't do that. She wouldn't, you know, she wasn't lying. I'm really not lying, and yet she was, you know, stealing from me. And I just asked her, you know, the nice purse that I got, you know, have you seen it? No, ma'am, haven't seen it. And then she finally said, yeah, I took it. And I'm like, why? You know, that was in my closet. That wasn't for you to go take somewhere and sell it, you know.
Do you see why enabling
Oh, yeah.
is so evil, why it is so crippling? You allow her to stay in this game another day, another week. You make it possible for her to stay in that game. You make it possible for her to stay in the game where she's stealing money, breaking into cars, doing sexual favors for money, stripping, larceny. You're enabling her to do that. You're making it possible for her to do those things instead of stopping it a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Because of my drug use, I've been in some really dangerous situations. I've seen a lot of violence, a lot of fights. One time I saw my friend get shot over drugs. The dealer got upset that my friend was telling him that his bags weren't big enough. The dealer went back inside and got his gun and came back out and shot him in the leg. When I think about all the crazy things that I've been through, it makes me realize that the lifestyle that I was living is insane.
If you add the crimes up that she described on videotape, you're talking 30 years in prison. I did the math. I wrote them down. I listed them. Possession of heroin, first offense, 2 years, second offense, felony up to 5 years. Driving drug dealers to deliver heroin, that's trafficking, first offense, 7 to 25 years. Hired a friend to rob an older man, $20,000, grand larceny, 10 years. Trade sexual favors for drugs. Supplied heroin to friends who OD'd, witnessed attempted murder. You go through all of these things, you're talking a lifetime in prison.
How does your brain think like that, sweetie? I'd like to hear some kind of answer that would say, look, this is why I've been doing all this. Is there not a stopping point that you wouldn't do anything for the drug? I mean, what would it take to get you to change? We just went through open heart surgery, pig's valve, and a pacemaker. And you're back with drugs already? You tell me, I'm your dad, you tell me something that I could do, a point where we can stop and start this thing going in a different direction. And I'm here. I'm here for you.
I need help.
Our heart, look at me. Our hearts are breaking, baby. You have no idea. Your mother can cry about it, but you don't have any idea inside how it hurts and how deep it hurts. You don't have any idea. And it seems like from all the stuff that we're talking about, you don't really care. And we just want the Bethy that cares and is normal, that's all. You don't have to be anything great. Just be your Bethany that we love, Bessie Mae. We love you. Your brother loves you. Your sister loves you. Your whole family loves you. God. A lot of people don't have families that love them like this. They kick them to the curb and put them on the streets, make them prostitute for drugs. I don't know. I'm a streetwise guy, but I don't know how all that works. But it's just not, something's got to happen. Something's got to break inside of you to give us a place where we can start again somehow. Because this is crazy. This is so frustrating. It's frustrating.
Do you have anything to say to him?
I just need help, and I need y'all to try to understand it more. I know you don't understand and you don't get it, but I don't know how to explain it to you and help you understand it. It's something that
Why should we believe you this time? I mean, we've been through this how many times, Doc?
6.
7? 6? We've been here. We're ridden
I don't want to live like this anymore. It's almost like I know, like, in my heart that, like, I'm just over it. Like, I don't...
You use drugs today. You're over it?
Yeah, but I don't
You're
want
kidding me.
to. Like, I don't want to.
What you don't get is that when she's shooting up heroin and she is really needing that next fix, you could fall down in front of her with a heart attack and she would step over your body gasping for air to get to that next fix. You need to get that through your head. That's the power of what we're talking about here. We're going to take a break. Bethany admits her 6 stints in rehab were more like vacations than a life-saving resource. So is there anything that will finally turn her life around? I'm going to tell you what I think after the break.
While Bethany was in the hospital, I found a journal that she had written. She said she had experienced some very horrible things. It was just devastating and heartbreaking to know that my child had walked through that kind of thing. Reading the journal put a lot of things in perspective for me. It's not just the drugs that she needs help with. There's all kinds of emotional things down inside. She's not free. She's not free.
Despite recently being in a medically induced coma and having open heart surgery to save her life, Bethany admits she is still using heroin multiple times a day. Her serious drug addiction has left her sister Abby, brother Josh, and parents Charlotte and Clyde absolutely confounded. They're heartbroken, they're confused, and frankly, they feel helpless. They don't know what to do.
Don't know. Have no earthly idea.
I do know that I'm done. After seeing what I saw today, I'm done. I can't, because I just feel like in the last 5 years that I'm the reason that she's where she is today. And that's very sad to me. That's heartbreaking to me to think, even though my family was telling me, Mom, you gotta stop. You know, I haven't wanted to until I saw and heard what she said today. And I can't do it anymore. I know that.
But you see why I zeroed in on you from the beginning. Josh, talk to me. What are you thinking and feeling right now?
I want to get off of this roller coaster ride of emotions and heartbreak and see her live normal, because she is a smart girl.
She is.
And she's beautiful when she's sober, and she has so much to offer, and it's frustrating. It's so frustrating just to see her throw her life away and waste all this precious time on drugs and this terrible things that we've heard today that she's been doing. It's just sad and it's heartbreaking.
Abby, what do you want to say to your sister?
I'm angry with her. The stuff that she does is, I guess being a female is just disgusting and just makes me angry. I'm hurt and I don't understand why she chose drugs and why she does everything over. She doesn't care about her family. She cares about heroin.
At this point, she couldn't stop this if she wanted to, because there is a physiological addiction that she has. There are parts of her brain that have been programmed to where she has to do this. And this is not a psychological, habitual phenomenon here. This involves her brain and her physiology. There are pleasure centers in the amygdala of the brain, in the nucleus accumbens in the brain that are involved. And she is in a neurological loop here that she cannot get out of. And I don't think she has ever had proper treatment. I think she's had partial treatment. She's had the 28-day patch.
And it didn't work.
If I told you that I know what you need and I can put you on that path, would you want to have it? The only chance that you have is not to treat your addiction, but to treat you. It's what's called dual diagnosis treatment programs that deal with comorbidity. You are depressed, you are anxious, you are confused. This man right here is T.J. Howard. Now, T.J. Howard, in addition to being a good friend of mine, is the corporate director for Origins Behavioral Health Care. And I believe they are the nation's leading dual diagnosis treatment center. And what they do is treat people, not diseases. They treat people, not addictions. And I asked him to fly in here today for you. TJ, where do you think she needs to go?
You know, I think that you're a perfect candidate for Hannah's House. It's our female-only facility that's highly medically capable because you have some medical concerns. And we got to involve the family because there's some major family enabling going on. But Hannah's House in South Padre Island, Texas is the best thing for you. We got to get you out of this loop that you're in and develop new brain pathways to get you onto some more healthy habits.
You can try to run off, but that isn't going to work because we're going to drag your ass back. And this card that I filled out here, yeah, I work with law enforcement. I work, do you know that? I work with law enforcement a lot. And you have confessed to a number of crimes here. And I'm going to keep you from doing drugs. You can either not do drugs in a treatment center, or you can not do drugs in jail. But I'm going to keep you off the street. And I would prefer that you do it in treatment. But that's your choice. You want to take this help? She says she'll take the help.
Thank goodness. Me neither.
I think she's ready. I want to thank all of my guests today. A special thanks to T.J. Howard and Origins Behavioral Health Care. Thanks. I'll see you next time.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
My son's a moocher. As much as I do for him, he is rotten.
You kick him out of the house and move him to the backyard. All that did is you walked further to bring him stuff. You're giving him food, money, cars. You're doing drugs, and it's her fault because she gave you the money to buy them?
Yep. When's the last time I gave you money?
Right before the show.
She bribed you to come?
Yeah, I did.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Susan wrote to me not once, not twice, but 9 times, desperate for me to help put her 27-year-old son, JJ, back on track. Now, Susan claims her son is a lazy, stealing, unemployed, violent moocher. Other than that, good kid. She says he refuses to support himself or his 4-month-old son because he prefers to waste his time lying around drinking while she foots the bill. So Susan decided enough is enough and kicked him out. Sort of. Now, Susan's husband, Stephen, says his wife went out and bought a camper van and relocated JJ from his bedroom to the garden in the backyard, where she continues to bring food and even money out to him. And Susan and Stephen say a mooching son doesn't come cheap, and have spent almost $60,000 keeping up with the lifestyle to which JJ is accustomed. Now, they also claim JJ has stolen upwards of 28 grand worth of their most treasured possessions, including a diamond ring, a very rare coin collection, to sell for money to buy alcohol and drugs. Now, after witnessing several violent outbursts from JJ, Stephen says, look, enough's enough, too much is too much, and points a finger directly at his wife, who he calls the ultimate enabler. Take a look.
My son's 27. He's a leech. He's a moocher. He doesn't work.
Susan is the ultimate enabler.
I don't want to call myself an enabler. I want to call myself helpful. JJ is my baby boy. My husband and I have apartment buildings, and JJ has lived in 2 of our apartments, rent-free, friends over, partying, complaints. We had to kick him out. Last week, they had a 10% off sale, so I got him a pair of sneakers. He did use my car. I did fill it with gas. I paid for the insurance.
She bails JJ out of almost every situation he gets into.
He steals, he robs, he's dishonest. I let him back, and my husband says, no more, no more, no more.
I want him to change because he has a son.
My husband and I do watch my grandson.
It's absolutely crazy. It drives me insane.
JJ stole my laptop, my diamond ring.
He can get very violent.
JJ's punched many holes in the wall. JJ's kicked doors down. He's thrown stuff. He's hit my husband. I kicked JJ out of the house 2 months ago. I found a camper. I put it on the back of my property.
This is my camper. This is what my mom bought me. It's a complete should be condemned.
My husband said, no more, done, out, he's gone. And here he is. He's ruining my life. And my husband's life, we've had it.
I want him off my property today.
Okay, I just want to jump right into this, okay?
Yep.
And I know you do. You've written to me 9 times, right?
Yes.
So you've probably watched the show at least 9 times.
Every day.
How long have you been watching the Dr. Phil show?
15 years.
15
Since
years?
you've been on Oprah.
Okay, oh, so this is our 16th season, and I was 5 years on Oprah, so you've been watching over 20 years.
Yeah.
Do you have a memory problem? No, I'm serious.
I know.
I'm serious. We were talking about this morning, because when I read your letter, you know what I thought about doing? I thought about sending you about 984 DVDs of other shows that I have done about your situation. You know what I'm going to tell you.
I know.
Tell me what I'm going to tell you.
You're gonna make me accountable for everything I've done with JJ. And it sounded good at the time, and I know it sounds bad, but after watching that and it comes out of my mouth, it looks horrible.
He says you're an enabler. Enabler is not a big enough word for what you're doing. You kick him out of the house and move him to the backyard. All that did is you walked further to bring him stuff.
I know, but I don't want to see him out on the streets because I don't feel like he's society's problem. I feel like he's my problem.
You can see what I go through. And I mean, I love my wife, and we have a great relationship. But this is like, it just breaks my heart. It breaks my spirit. I have a son that just doesn't get it.
And you love him, right?
And I love him. I love him dearly.
You love your son, and you love your son.
It's obvious.
But yet you're doing things to cripple him.
I am.
But you do realize that what you're doing is to make you feel better, not to make him get better.
I don't think she realizes it, Dr. Phil.
I don't think I do either.
Really?
Yep.
No, I don't.
You have to understand, she's the ultimate fixer in our family.
So you're giving him food, shelter, transportation, money. How's that working for you?
It's not, but I get...
Whoa.
Oh.
You can't use but.
Okay.
It's not working for you.
It's not working.
He sets the hook and reels you in every time.
I know, which causes a rift between him and I.
Right. But you understand that you do this because you said when he's on the street, he loses 20 pounds and I just feel terrible.
Yeah, I do.
So when you bring him in and fix him a sandwich and put his house shoes on him and put him on the couch, who feels better?
Well, he does too.
I didn't ask you about him.
Oh, well,
Do you feel better?
yeah, I do.
Do you get a sense of, I know he's safe for tonight?
Yes, I know he's home, he's safe, he's not doing naughty things that he shouldn't be doing, he's not stealing from people.
So you feel better
Yes.
in the moment.
Yes, I feel better.
So instead of letting him hit bottom, instead of letting necessity be the mother of invention and forcing him to deal with the reality that he has to do something to make his way through the world, you bring him home, put his fuzzy house shoes on him, give him a sandwich and a remote, put him on the couch.
It's not quite
and you
that
feel
bad,
better. Oh, it's not?
not quite that bad.
It is. It really is.
But at least he calls you a whore and a slut and the word for your trouble.
I know, he does. He's rotten. As much as I do for him, he is rotten. And then I throw him out, and then we're just right back to the same thing.
Because, you know, I've got certain philosophies in life, like one of them is you don't reward bad behavior. That's a pretty fundamental philosophy, right? And the other one was, you don't have to like me, and you can call me a sumbitch, but you're going to do it long distance. I mean, you really, you can call me names, but you're not going to do it from my couch.
Yep.
You can go across the street and yell names at me. You can go across town and yell names at me, but I'll be damned if I'm going to put you on my couch in your fuzzy house shoes that I bought and the sandwich that I made and have you call me names. Now, one of us is a fool, if that makes sense to you.
Yes, it does. I feel like I brought JJ into this world, and I'm his mom, and it's my responsibility to try to get him back on the right track.
Well, why don't you focus on doing that instead of making yourself feel better?
Well, that's why I'm here. I need you to tell me what I'm doing wrong besides everything, because I know that.
Well, no, I just did.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming. We'll be right back. I mean, I just did. I just did. You're doing things, I know you don't like to hear this, but you're doing things to make you feel better at his expense. Because it's not in his best interest for you to continue making it easy for him to do what he does. And you can't make a change now because winter's coming, right?
Yeah, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with him. I said, winter's coming. And then
And I just...
And she's been watching 21 years. I'm apparently not very good at this. Well, 27-year-old JJ says if his mother is the ultimate enabler, she needs to do a much better job because her level of service falls way below what he expects. We'll let JJ articulate where she's falling below what he needs when we come back.
Is try to bribe JJ with money.
he said he would do the show if I gave him $20. So I just gave him $20 to shut him up.
You sure you're ready for this?
No, I'm not doing it.
Dr. Phil's gonna be really mad at me.
Well, Stephen and his wife Susan say they've had enough of their 27-year-old mooching son JJ. They estimate the running cost of providing for their son exceeds $60,000 just over the last few years. They say they're not getting much bang for their buck. Quite the opposite, in fact. Stephen says his son has attacked him with a knife, smashed up his home, stolen his car before crashing it. Now, Stephen says he wants his son gone and his wife's enabling to stop. But JJ says if his mom is really the ultimate enabler, she needs to do more to earn that title.
My mom tells me that she's ashamed of me. My mom doesn't care about me. We hardly talk. My mom would say, you know, you're a piece of you're a low-life loser, you're never gonna go anywhere. And what really gets me is when she tells me, I feel bad for your son. My mom's not there right now for me as a mother. She thinks I'm just this guy lazing around, mooching off of her. You know, I need to eat, I need things like that. And that's just so I can get to the next day. She never helped me get a car. I mean, she did. She helped me get my first car, but that was so long ago. I was 15 and a half years old when I got my first car. And she bought me this camper just to have a place for me to put me. This camper is I've done a little bit of jail time, and it's almost like being in jail, being in this camper. Jail is actually even better. At least you get, 3 meals a day. Being in here, I laze around, I sleep all day. My mom's always talking down to me. She's always putting me down. When it comes to her nagging me, it's always about just getting a job. Currently, I don't have a job. I really don't even have the motivation to even really want to work right now, because I know the way my mom's gonna act when I start working. My mom used to give me up to $40 a day. She only gave me money because she didn't want me in the house. She just wanted me, you know, out of sight, out of mind. Steal and I'll pawn my parents' things. I've gone into my dad's room. He used to leave his wallet out, and I'd open up the wallet, just take cash right out of the wallet. I stole my mom's anniversary ring, and it was a $10,000 ring. I told my mom I'm depressed, and she told me to just suck it up. That's all she says to me, suck it up. There's no way I cost them $60,000.
How would you know that, JJ? Every time you put a needle in your arm, you don't even remember what you do after that.
You paid for me to do that, though. I mean,
Yeah.
I got the money from you.
No, you stole the money from us.
Well, you've given me money, $20 to $50. You
Yeah.
used to give it to me every single day.
Yeah, a long,
And you know what I
long
was
time
doing with
ago. Well,
So you're doing drugs, right?
Yes.
And it's her fault because she gave you the money to buy them?
Yes.
see?
I'll
You
tell
can't
what,
win with
I'll tell you
him.
what, I've done drugs right in front of her.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
When?
I've smoked meth right in front of you.
Oh.
You might have thought
I
was
don't do it,
THC
so-
oil, but I mean, I still did it. You know what I mean?
Your mom would
I
know
I
that.
would not.
She's never
No,
done
he's-
drugs.
No, she wouldn't know that, but she always saw me come back. I mean, she gave me the money to get it. She saw me do it. Like, she's instigating like the lifestyle that, you know, I've been living, and this is where I'm at now.
So, and it's
Like,
my fault.
You've helped me dig a hole. You practically gave me the shovel.
JJ,
Oh, hang on a
I've
second.
always done better when I'm not even-
Hold on a second. What's your point to all of this? Is it their fault that you're where you are?
I think they play a big part in it.
That's what I'm wanting to know,
Yeah.
because I'm trying to
I mean,
analyze the
I
situation.
definitely made, you know, the bad decisions. Obviously, doing drugs isn't a positive thing. But, I mean, when she knows I'm doing it and she's giving me the money to do it.
When's the last time I gave you money?
Right before the show.
And why did I give it to you? No. Why did I get?
Well, I was supposed to get $500 to be here.
No,
Tell you right now.
no, bull crap.
And you said, oh, yeah, that's fine. I'll do that just to get you on the show. I was like, oh, all right, well, at least give me
So
$500.
she bribed you to come?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I got 20 bucks one day.
So you're not
Didn't
really
go far.
motivated to be here?
No, she bribed me to be here.
Let me ask you this. So they play a big role. So if you get busted for drugs next week,
Yeah.
we should arrest the two of them at the same time.
And who would you call? Mama.
Excuse
call
me.
you.
Oh, I'm
I asked
sorry.
him a question, and before he could answer, you interrupted and started going back and forth. And we've already determined you don't know what the hell you're doing. So I'm just asking you, if you get busted for drugs, should they be arrested as well as accomplices?
Yes, yeah.
So you guys should go down with him.
My mom she instigates my lifestyle, though. Like, she gives me alcohol. Like,
Did she give you that diamond ring?
No, I took that.
You stole that?
I did, yeah, I
Did she
took
give
that.
you the laptop?
I didn't steal the laptop. So I left the house with the
Yes,
laptop.
he did.
No, I didn't steal the laptop. It got left in the back of someone's vehicle. And I just met them because I needed a ride to where I was going. I forgot it in their backseat.
Did he give you the power tools that you?
No, I took those.
You took those.
Yeah, I took
So you stole the power tools.
Yeah.
And you pawned them.
Yes.
And you stole the wedding ring.
Yes. I didn't know it was a $10,000 ring.
Was there any time during that process that you were under the impression that that diamond ring was yours?
No, I knew it wasn't mine.
At no time when you took it did you think it was yours?
No. I mean,
At no time when you
it was
sold
in the
it
room.
that you thought it was yours?
No.
So you knowingly took things that weren't yours, and you knowingly sold things that weren't yours, converted them to cash, took it, and spent it knowing that it was not your money.
No, once I got the cash, I felt like the cash was my money. I mean, I have no money in my pocket, but if I'm high, I feel like $1 million. I don't even need a job when I'm high. Like, I feel great.
JJ's older sister, Jessica, says she's washed her hands of her washed-up brother a long time ago. We're going to meet her after the break.
JD's very violent when he's coming off drugs. He has called me a whore, bad mother, bitch. One time, AJ pulled a knife on Steven.
he reached over, grabbed the steak knife, said he was going to cut himself. He turned it on me. I grabbed a hold of it, broke the knife free. My wife grabbed it.
Another time, JD punched his fist through the camper window.
So this is the window I smashed out. I got drunk and angry one night and cut my arm up.
He severed his nerves. There was blood everywhere. JD does terrify me.
Stephen says he kicked his lazy, knife-wielding son out of the house, only to find his wife, Susan, had gone behind his back, bought a camper trailer, and moved JJ into the backyard where he now lives, but still shows no sign of getting any traction, looking for a job, or making his own way. His older sister says that he has perfected the art of playing his mom like a fiddle.
JJ is selfish, lazy, cocky, and ignorant. My brother doesn't do anything. He's a moocher and he's a loser. I think my mom's way too soft on my brother. My parents should drop my brother off at a shelter. My mom enables my brother. She'll kick him out for a couple weeks. He always weasels his way back in. It's the same thing over and over. My mom was letting my brother use her car. She also bought a trailer for him to live in.
I spend a lot of time sleeping in here. I sleep a lot. I got nothing else to do.
She gives him money. My mom definitely buys my brother cigarettes. JJ stole my dad's power tools to buy drugs, and my mom did not press charges and went and rebought the tools. My mom brought the tools back to my dad and said JJ returned them. My mom lied to protect JJ. I am definitely ashamed of my brother. It's embarrassing. JJ is 27 years old and absolutely should be on his own, taking care of his son, not living with my parents. My brother definitely needs tough love at this point in his life. I am done with my brother. It's either you change your life or I'm gone.
Well, thank you for being here. What is your relationship with your brother now? How often do you see him? What do you talk about? How does it go?
We don't really see each other often unless he needs something.
She's a lot like my mom. Like, when she talks to me, I just feel like I'm talking to my mom half the time.
Yeah.
But I don't enable you.
But she's trying to tell you the same thing we're all trying to tell you. You got to change your life.
Yes, Jay.
Well, I asked for help from you
But
guys.
Jay-
You guys didn't want to help me out.
Oh my
we have
God.
done
You're so ridiculous.
We
Hear
have done
yourself.
When I
everything.
broke that window in the camper, I mean, who's feeding me the alcohol that, you know?
You
told me to do
stole
that?
a bottle of gin out of the cupboard. I didn't even know you were drinking.
You started doing drugs, and
Well-
I kept trying to tell you that's not the lifestyle. That's going to lead you down a bad path.
I had a lot of freedom. You guys were really harder on Jesse and Joey. Like,
That's
when they
not
would
an
go somewhere.
excuse.
That's not an
I'm not
excuse.
trying to make an excuse. I'm just saying this is how it is. So I had a car at 15 and a half. I could be out all night. You guys never called to see what I was doing. It didn't really matter. And because I finished high school so fast, I didn't really know how bad drugs even were until I started doing them.
Yeah,
And
but we
once I
aren't
got
raised
hooked,
to
But
steal,
he didn't,
JJ.
but he didn't stop you. As many times as I said, JJ, I will do anything to help you stop. It frustrates me, JJ. You know that. Me and you have come to blows. And I never thought that would ever happen between me and my son.
What would you like them to do that they're not doing?
Well, I did ask my mom to send me to rehab, and she can't afford it. But I mean, prior to that, she had sent me to rehab before, and I made it 8 days. It was a really horrible environment. Like, the curriculum wasn't really set up there, so we spent a lot of time on the couch. And in the bedroom I was in, there was bed bugs, so I had like all these bites down my back.
When you were
didn't
doing
ask me
drugs,
that.
you were
You did-
staying
you
in
did
an
not
apartment
ask me to
with
send you
bed
to
bugs and
rehab.
you
Yes, I
didn't care.
did.
When?
Check the text. I've texted you that.
They got all the texts I sent them.
Oh,
And there's
good.
not one
Well,
that says,
I'm sure
there's
Wilson
lots of
does.
names for
JJ,
me.
every time I've ever asked you to stop and let's get through this, that I can help you to get through this, you say, nope, I like getting high.
Okay.
I want to be high.
My question was specifically, what is it you want them to do that they're not doing? You said you wanted her to send you to rehab, but you went and stayed 8 days, and when he wanted out, you went and picked him up, right?
Yep.
Yes, but.
But hell, what is it you want them to do? What is it you want them to do? What else is it you want them to do that they're not doing?
Well, the way my mom treats me, I mean, I can't even stand it. Like, when I have a job, she tells me I'm not going to keep it.
Am I
Because-
right?
don't.
You don't.
But Dad's the opposite. Dad would be like, I know you're going to keep it this time. That's awesome.
I've tried
you know?
that with you being encouraging.
But it's
It
still-
doesn't
Well, you've
work.
never been encouraging. No
JJ,
way.
It doesn't matter.
Jessica.
27.
Okay,
Encourage yourself.
maybe like six, 7 years ago you were
Jesus.
encouraging, but after these last 6, 7 years, you've never been encouraging when you get a job.
But
Okay,
dabbling-
You're
so
supposed to be down.
so number
It's like,
two
if you're
is
putting me down, why do you do my job?
You want them to quit putting you down. Number three,
I have a number 3 going on too, so.
that's it. Just you want them to get you help and be more encouraging.
JG, will you
I
give
don't
up
know what to
drugs?
do. I know I want
Will
to
you
be better.
give up drugs?
Yeah, I mean,
No, really, will you
not in
give
that
up
camper.
drugs?
I mean, that's the most depressing environment. Like, until I get a drug, I never even feel better.
JG,
Like, and I keep telling you I'm depressed. Like, I keep telling you that. Mom,
Then go
I'm
to the
depressed.
doctors. I'm not Dr. Phil.
Can you bring me to the doctors?
You won't go, though.
Hey, don't roll your eyes when she says Dr. Phil. I don't just play a doctor on TV. JJ says that the food in jail would be preferable to his mom's cooking. Based on...
I don't know if I said, I might have said that.
Yes, you did. We have it recorded.
Oh, yeah. All right.
That is untrue.
Are you kidding?
You haven't tested jail food. You don't know.
You're right.
But based on how you answered the questions to me about knowing that that ring was not yours, knowing that those tools were not yours when you took them and when you sold them and when you converted them to cash that you then possessed and used, it just might be able to be arranged that you could eat jail food. We'll talk about that when we come back.
My son JJ overdosed 10 plus times. 2 years ago, my husband saw JJ in his room slumped over. He had needles and his lips were blue. JJ was not breathing. He was dead. My husband started screaming. I called 911.
Got me doing CPR. Sometimes I feel maybe JJ would have been better off dying.
I was so scared.
It's not something I normally say out loud. I just keep it in here.
Your fear is that the phone's going to ring and they're going to tell you that your son has been found. We're real sorry, but he didn't make it.
That's what I'm waiting for.
I've been the one twice that's brought him back. And
Well, why? You think I'm better off dying?
no, that's the feeling inside
With the
of me.
track you're on, JJ. With the track you're on.
When I see you the way you are, and now you have a son, and I look at you and I say, you know, one day you might be with your son and you do this crap, you do this heroin, and you die, and that poor little boy is going to be there with nobody. He's going to grow up without a father. Do you know how much as a father, it kills me. It kills me. It kills me to lay down at night, in the middle of the night, and I'm thinking, why did I save him? What was the purpose for me saving him? And then I see your little son, okay? You didn't ask to come in this world. He didn't ask for anything but a father. And I try to be the father for you, and it's killing me. It really is killing me, JJ. You're gonna kill me before I have a chance to enjoy any of my grandchildren. You gotta stop. You've gotta stop, JJ.
No, I know.
For yourself. Not for me, not for your mother, not for your sister. For yourself and for your son. And you can stop. I know you can. If you want to. But sometimes I just think you don't care. Yeah, you care for the moment to get mom to help you, to give you something, or to convince me that, I'm going to change that, but you don't.
Well, it's because at that time I want to change.
No,
and then
you
I
want to
just- I
change
just
for the
sucked right back
moment
into
because
the-
you just, either you're high and
the
you're
drug
feeling
draw
good,
and-
maybe you get a conscience for that moment. But then once it's over, you're right back to it again. And Dr. Phil, I don't know. We got so many, I feel like I'm by myself when I have these feelings, and it's hard because, me and my wife, we fight over this so much, and I can't even talk to her. She's, don't talk to me about this. I don't want to talk about this, okay? And I want to talk about it. I want to talk about how to help my son. I want to be a part of the solution, okay? She can't fix it all by herself.
She doesn't know how to fix it.
She doesn't.
I said there was a reason that I agreed to deal with this family. There's a reason that I agreed to talk about this story, because every story that I deal with on this show is a teaching tool. Every story that I deal with here, there's a takeaway for. There's an unknown factor here. And Susan says she is convinced that after 10 years of substance abuse, that JJ's brain could be seriously damaged. Well, is she right? We're going to talk about brain and drugs. We'll be right back.
My biggest fear is I'm going to lose JJ.
Every day, my wife and I wake up We worry that we're going to get that phone call that he's dead.
When I overdose, I'm not scared at all. It's a really nice feeling when I overdose.
I fear he is going to die. It's just a matter of time.
Joining us is Dr. Bradley Jabbour. Now, he is the world's leading neuroradiologist with more than 20 years in practice. Now, he did his residency at Stanford University, his radiology fellowship at the University of Southern California and UCLA. He's an expert on the impact of drugs such as heroin on the brain. Now, Dr. Jabbour has pioneered cutting-edge breakthroughs in imaging. And yesterday, I asked him to do a very sophisticated fMRI on JJ's brain at his facility, the Medical Imaging Center of Southern California in Santa Monica. Take a look.
I'm really nervous about today. I'm expecting to just find out what's going on with my brain and my whole body. And I just want to find out why I am the way I am. I'm really not sure what to expect.
Good morning, JJ. What we want to do is try and help you. We're going to be performing a functional MRI today.
I'm really nervous.
Don't be nervous. You're going to be inside a tunnel and it's going to make a lot of noise. Try not to move. Just relax. The key thing is to let your brain just wander. Now this is very dramatic, by the way. Okay, we are now finished. Let's get him out. You did a great job.
Thank you.
It wasn't that bad, was it? We've got some very good information.
Hope to find out tomorrow what's really going on with me and find out what I can do to fix it.
Well, Dr. Jabbour, thank you for being here. I appreciate you being part of the show today. This is so important, and it is the reason that I agreed to do this. Tell us what an fMRI is. Everybody's heard of MRI. Tell us what an fMRI is.
So with functional magnetic resonance imaging, we now have a mechanism to see the thinking brain, to analyze the brain not just as a shape, but to actually have a window into how the brain is thinking.
Okay, so in other words, we're able to see what the brain looks like when it's performing certain functions, when it's doing certain things. We have an image up now where this is one of the images, a 3D image that you guys generate in this Star Wars technology you have, where you're basically showing the circuitry of the brain, the wiring of the brain. Let's take a look at the first image and see what we have found here. Now, what we're looking here is at JJ's brain scan. We're talking here about basically you see that his brain is actually shrinking inside the cavity, correct?
Yeah, the analogy is if you imagine a grape, a nice plump, healthy grape. It's got a nice smooth, maybe a little fold here or there, but when it becomes a raisin, it shrinks and develops multiple folds. So really, when you abuse your brain over a long period of time, the brain, just like a grape, will shrink back and you'll see more space between the skull and the brain itself. The white represents fluid, the cerebrospinal fluid, that becomes a bigger space when the brain shrinks.
Okay, so we're talking about these spaces here.
The thing about JJ's brain is it's very prominent in the frontotemporal area, the very important area for executive function where you think and plan your life.
This is the most sophisticated part of the brain.
We have an indication that there's going to be some more abnormalities as we delve into the scan in more detail.
So if he stops this at this point, is it too late? Okay, tell us what we're seeing here. We have JJ's brain on this side, a normal brain on the other side.
So if you think of the brain as a machine, this is a measure of the flow of blood to the brain. A normal brain in a right-handed person should have dominant activity on the left. Now, the red represents good function, more. Blue and black mean less. So between red and blue, you have orange and yellow, so there's this grade of activity. So you have good activity throughout the left brain in this normal person who's right-handed. You can see that in JJ, just immediately that there's much less red activity. The engine is not working.
Let's take a look at this, which is the brain at rest.
When the patient's in that scanner and they're not thinking about anything, just letting their brain ruminate, you should only have, in the normal population, the green represents what the footprint of the default mode network would be in a normal population. In JJ, he has multiple default mode networks instead of just one, and each of those networks is hyper connected, which is an indication that he has disrupted brain networks. And this means that the computers in the brain, many different computers hooked to each other, the computers are just not talking to each other.
This indicates, because this yellow should be not visible, this should be smaller than what we have green, which means the default network is disrupted. His networking is not right. Let's go back to the image right before this. Here we see metabolically he is disrupted because he is not getting enough oxygen and other activity metabolically in the brain, particularly in the executive functions. And if we can go to the image right before, we can see that the brain is actually shrinking inside the cavity here.
Yes.
So the brain is shrinking, the metabolic activity in the brain is shut down, and the networking in the brain is disrupted. Okay, let's have a seat, because I have a very important question for you, and this is what you guys need to be really interested in. Is it too late?
So JJ is 29 years old, right? 27. So we know this, that in a young male, and I think young is in your 20s, if you have a dramatic and determined, prolonged program where you abstain from poisoning your brain, the neuroplasticity, the normal ability of the brain to regenerate, we know that there is, that miracle can happen in terms of regenerating tissue. The networks are fragile. The networks have to be rebuilt, and that will take functioning in a very intensive program to re-establish the correct lifestyle habits and also mechanical functions of a productive life. Otherwise, those networks won't come back together again.
So if he stops this at this point, if he stops putting these toxic poisons in his brain, it can regenerate, and he can regain a substantial amount of this functioning.
You know, he's reaching the age where if he doesn't do something now, it becomes more difficult as you become a mature adult.
Yeah, the neuroplasticity is declining.
Yeah,
he needs to do it, and he needs to do it now.
Yes.
All right. Now, Susan wrote to me 9 times saying that she watches me every day, and she knows that JJ needs to hear my words, but he's not the only one. We'll be right back. What DeBoer is telling you here is this affects the computer that runs your body. This affects your brain. It affects the networks, the wiring of the brain. It affects every aspect of the brain. And that's what has happened here. Your brain has been affected. The good news is it's not too late. A lot of this is reversible. But you need to understand, this is not anymore about, oh, is it my mother's fault, my dad's fault? Should I be one that's to blame or not to blame? You're at the end of the rope here. So when you guys decide you're going to enable him, just know you're marking a day off the calendar of his chance to recover his brain function. He needs to go through a serious, concentrated detox. And I'm going to help arrange that for you medically in your community. And if during that time he shows the commitment to do that and stay with it and be drug tested at random as often as they want to determine if he's done that, and you guys play ball and don't enable him, then I'll talk to you about putting him into rehab. But I'm not going to waste that resource until he demonstrates a willingness to get detoxed and you demonstrate a willingness to take a new approach to this and no longer listen to the excuses, justifications, and enable this young man. And that's what I'm willing to do. Don't blow this. Grab a hold of this one. I know you can. I see a sense of awareness here. And I'm right, aren't I?
Yeah.
Okay? All right. Well, I wish JJ and the entire family all the best, especially for the sake of this new child. Now, JJ's mom, Susan, has spent a lot of time focusing on her adult son, but Robin believes sometimes you have to shift the focus to yourself.
You know, ladies, we have all heard the advice that you must never go to bed with your makeup on. And some of us take that seriously, and that's why I created my Foaming Joy Cleanser. It is the best to be used right before you go to bed. It is everything you need to get rid of all of your makeup, all of that grime and that dirt that you pick up from the environment throughout the entire day.
Now, apparently this cleanser is like a definitive must-have because she makes me use it, actually. Trust me, growing up in Texas, I never thought I would be putting on makeup every day. So it's not just for ladies. I use it too. And it's also an Oprah's O Magazine Beauty Award winner.
So proud of that. Foaming Joy is packed full of antioxidants like apple fruit extract and hydrating ingredients. You'll wake up jumping for joy when you see and feel your smooth, moisturized skin.
I have to wake up and jump for joy?
Yes, yes.
All right. Robin's Foaming Joy can be on its way to you with just a few clicks at RobinMcGrawRevelation.com.
And don't just treat your skin, also protect your lips with my Lippy Lovey Lip Balm, which is a free gift this week when you purchase Foaming Joy Purifying Facial Cleanser.
You can find Foaming Joy Cleanser and your free Lippy Lovey gift at RobinMcGrawRevelation.com. And while you're there, be sure to check out all of our other amazing products. But for our audience, Robin's not sending you all home empty-handed. You're all getting Robin's Foaming Joy and a Lippy Lovey. Okay? I want to thank all of my guests today. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Have you punched your mother in the face?
No. Yes. They're lying to you. He's lying to you. She's lying to you. You just want me to keep on pushing pills down my throat.
You were in jail 7 months.
You were so drunk you didn't remember a damn thing. We could ask my older sister.
She wasn't there.
I was 16 years old. I'm not finished. What is wrong with your brain?
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. I want you to meet 18-year-old Tyler. She's a very pleasant-looking, nice young lady, right? What if I told you that in the last 2 years, 18-year-old Tyler has been arrested 10 times, has had the police called on her at least 30 times for altercations with her own family. Now, her parents, Stacy and Dan, say they've had to file multiple orders of protection against Tyler for the safety of themselves and their other 2 children. Now, trouble with the law finally caught up with her in January 2017, and Tyler spent 7 months in jail for violating her probation because she beat up her friend. But since getting out of jail, her parents say Tyler's out-of-control behavior has only gotten worse. Now, Stacy and Dan say their daughter Tyler is refusing to take any medication or seek any treatment for any mental health disorders that she may have. Now, according to 18-year-old Tyler, treating her mental health is just, quote, not something she wants to do right now. Now, Stacy and Dan say Tyler is a rageaholic who has punched holes in the wall, broken windshields, and even punched her mom in the face. Oh, and one more thing, she's 7 weeks pregnant. Take a look.
My daughter Tyler is a rageaholic. She has extreme anger inside of her.
Tyler's punched holes in walls, doors, broken mirrors.
Kicked the pets, even cracked my car windshield with her feet. Tyler has had the police called on her by various members of the family at least 30 times.
When Tyler got me arrested the first time, she had called the police. She then told them that I punched her in the face, and I was arrested on the spot.
Tyler has called the police trying to get her dad and I in trouble multiple times.
I actually spent 3 weeks in jail. I lost my job. Tyler's called CPS on us multiple times. The CPS investigations have pretty much become routine.
Tyler went to jail because she violated her probation.
And because she beat up a boy. She was in jail for 7 months. It's just complete chaos.
Tyler's rages are set off by anything and everything. It may be a look. Sometimes in the grocery store, Tyler would perceive that somebody was giving her a dirty look, and I would tell her I don't think that's the case, and be concerned that she would be angry at me for telling her that.
She called me an ass bitch.
Tyler is physically and verbally abusive to every member of the family.
We've had to file these order of protections against Tyler because of her violence.
When I was 6.5 months pregnant, Tyler had pushed her body up against me with such force that she was slamming me into a door.
My daughter Tegan and my son Daniel literally feel hatred for Tyler.
Tyler has been diagnosed with depression,
ADD, ADHD,
bipolar,
PTSD.
Tyler does not take medication at all.
At this point, I have completely cut Tyler off, told my wife she's not to buy her stuff anymore.
Tyler is only 7 weeks pregnant. She has told me, you will never see your grandchild. I'm afraid she will crash and burn really hard.
Until she can accept that she needs help, Tyler's headed towards either long-term jail or an early death.
Okay, it's good to meet you. I'm sorry for the circumstance. You're basically parenting her and you're using the police to help you parent her.
When Tyler was on probation, we were instructed that anytime she had any outbursts or behaviors like that, we had to call. We didn't call every time. That would be impossible.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. But they were becoming part of the parental unit, correct?
Yeah, well,
and that didn't work.
The other thing is, if we let it go too far, one of us would, more than likely me, would end up in jail for
Oh, hell, I don't know how you've gone this far. Seriously, I don't know how you even go home. Because it's a ticking time bomb for you, right? She's had you arrested, what, 3 times?
Yeah.
For parenting?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this can't go on, right?
Right.
Okay, now she's got these multiple diagnoses that you said, bipolar 1, ADHD, ADD, BPD, PTSD.
Yes.
Damn, buy a Val. That's a lot of diagnoses for an 18-year-old.
Yes.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Do you think she has PTSD?
There was an incident where she was in a boarding home where someone tried to stab her with a knife. And I'm sure that was probably pretty traumatic.
It's a very complex diagnostic sequence. I see no evidence of it whatsoever in her patterns here at all. Dreams, nightmares, intrusive recollections, reliving the trauma, psychological, physiological reaction to cues, like loud noises, things of that nature, avoiding thoughts or feelings or conversations about it, activities, places, or people. Only thing is irritable and aggressive behavior, and that's not specific to this. So I think, I'm not sure that we even know what you're dealing with here, do we?
We've taken her to counseling. She's been always treated since she was young until she turned 18 and decided she was done with it.
But you don't know whether you were treating her for ADHD, ADD, borderline personality. You were just taking her for counseling.
When you're stuck in this situation, you listen to the professionals and you,
Of course,
you let them.
Of course, you would.
Just
you would.
go. Family counseling. Okay, let's go.
You don't go get a counselor and then not listen to them, right? You either put your faith in them or you don't.
Right. Yes.
I'm not being critical. I'm just trying to find out what you've done and not done, and do you know what you're treating or not treating?
I don't think we do.
No.
So at this point, here's what we know. She's not interested in doing anything to improve the situation or change it.
Right. She tells
Okay.
me that it has changed. She's changed.
Okay.
She says all of the people in her life besides us see a change, but they're all new people that she met in jail.
Okay, well, maybe. Okay, look, 18-year-old Tyler says her mom has hit her, bitten her, scratched her chest. She says her dad once punched her in the nose. She bled all over the bathroom. Her parents say Tyler is a liar who frequently makes up stories and then calls the police and CPS on them. Called CPS once from the jail on them. She just had a feeling that things weren't right. We'll meet Tyler after the break.
Tyler tried to manipulate me and my wife with a suicide attempt.
Tyler searched through all of my medications and found one that she thought could harm her.
She took pictures holding the bottle of pills and posted them on social media. I found Tyler on the couch, semi-conscious. I called 911.
The pills made her really out of it, but they didn't hurt her. I feel bad saying it was for attention, but I mean, that's like, hello.
Well, Stacy and Dan say their pregnant 18-year-old daughter, Tyler, is a rageaholic who has been abusing the family for years. Now, since getting out of jail in July, they say her behavior has actually gotten worse. Now, Tyler says her parents call the police on her any chance they get, and that there's a whole lot more to this story than they're telling. Take a look.
I am the black sheep of the family. My parents have brainwashed my siblings into thinking that I'm this big, horrible monster. My parents have called the police on me so many times for yelling at my brother, like siblings do to each other. They've had a refrain from order on me. I'm not to yell, swear, portray any harassing behaviors towards any of my family members. My mom has said, I hate you and I want you to die. She calls me a whore a lot. My dad, he's the one who started calling me a whore before my mom even did. One time, my dad shoved me into my bedroom closet wall, and my elbow and the back of my head went through the wall, and there's still a hole there to this day. Another time, my father hit me really hard in the face. My nose started bleeding, so I ran to the bathroom. Blood got everywhere, all over the bathtub, the floor, the toilet seats. I called the police, and they arrested him. When I was 13 years old, my parents kicked me out of the house and put me in a group home. They said that my behavior was the worst they'd ever seen. This year, I went to jail for 7 months for several violations of probation. The judge said I was a danger. They offered me probation again, but I decided to take my jail time. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. While I was in jail, I called CPS on my parents because while I was on a video call with my father, he was under the influence, was holding my infant sister. My boyfriend's name is Adam. We are engaged, and I am 7 weeks pregnant. I was in shock at first, kind of the whole, oh man, why wasn't I more careful stage. Life has been the furthest from normal, just so dysfunctional.
Okay, I'm glad you're here. How do you feel about being here?
To be honest, I'm a little nervous. I feel like nothing's really gonna come out of this, I'm not gonna lie to you. Nothing's ever worked before. I don't see anything ever working, so.
Maybe I'm different.
I hope so.
This is a family situation here. Yes. And so I've talked to them about that, but I'm asking you, what's your ownership in this? What is it that sets you up to be criticized?
I do have anger issues. I wouldn't use that as, like my dad always says, like I use that as a crutch, my anger issues. Like that's not a good reason to be the way that you are, but I have a lot of trouble controlling myself sometimes.
Why were you on probation?
Fighting with my parents, trouble at school.
And then you violated your probation, and that involved beating up a friend?
I didn't beat him up. I punched him in the face. I mean, not saying that makes it any better by any means, but I didn't like straight beat him up or anything.
Okay. Have you kicked the windshield out of your family car?
No. I was sitting in the front seat waiting to go home. It was like below freezing outside. I didn't kick it. It wasn't like shattered or anything. It's not like I took a freaking baseball bat to it. I sat up in the seat.
And it cracked?
I guess so. We had a really crappy car. So I can't really tell you why it cracked. I'm not a freaking scientist, but it cracked, and that's not my fault.
Have you punched your mother in the face while she was pregnant?
No, I did not punch her in the face. My mom physically tried to restrain me while I was pregnant. Well, she was pregnant, sorry.
Did she punch you in the face?
Yes.
Dan says Tyler has had him arrested and sent to jail, as I said before, on more than one occasion for attacking her. Dan says he's never hit any of his children, but Tyler says her dad repeatedly punched her in the ribs during an altercation in 2015. We'll talk about that and hear from little brother and sister when we come back.
I have been pregnant once before. At school that day, I was in a lot of pain, and I realized that I was losing my baby.
She tells everybody she had a miscarriage. Family members, friends, people talk about it and say Tyler was lying. She knows I don't believe her.
She denies it completely, that I was ever pregnant.
Well, 18-year-old Tyler is currently 7 weeks pregnant, but she says she was pregnant once before at 16. Now, Tyler claims she lost that baby. Stacy and Dan say they aren't sure if Tyler was ever pregnant at 16 years old. That's because they accuse her of being a liar and claim she has a long history of false accusations. Now, Dan says he's never hit any of his daughters, not ever. But on July 11th of 2015, he was arrested for battery and assault and cruelty to children. Take a look.
When I was 16, my father was in my bedroom yelling, screaming, just scary, angry, slurring his words. He didn't know who I was or who he was at all. My dad ended up talking to my mother on the phone because I wouldn't let him hold on to my phone because I was worried he would break it.
Tyler wouldn't give me her phone, so I tried to physically take it away from her, grabbed her arm and tried to just pry the phone from her hand.
So he started punching me in the rib.
I've never punched my daughter.
He thought I was somebody completely different, and he started saying sexual things to me. I was worried and scared because he didn't know who I was, and so I called the police.
I was arrested.
I was confused, scared, worried about what my mom was going to think when she came home.
I actually spent 3 weeks in jail for endangerment of the welfare of a minor and physical contact. I lost my job.
My mom was very mad at me.
I said to Tyler, I want you to tell them what really happened. And she said, you're telling me to lie to the police, and freaking out.
My mom wasn't there. She doesn't know.
I've never even asked my husband. I know it's not true.
There was this time where you two got in a fracas at a doctor's appointment. She didn't want to go in, so you said you sprinkled water on her.
Yes, I did.
Now, okay, if you believe that you have a volatile, rageaholic daughter, and she is at the time being oppositional and defiant, you think the best thing to do is throw water on her?
In hindsight, it was not the best decision. I was getting real mad. I was going to be late for my appointment, and she was refusing to get out.
And so you thought the thing to do was throw water on her?
I looked over, there's a water bottle. She was blowing her stack, and I thought, hey, I'll shut it off. Yeah.
How did that work for you?
It didn't work out very well. She pushed my door open so hard, she bent my door, she hit my hand, pushed it backwards, hyperextended my wrist, injured me. I mean, it didn't go well at all.
Yeah, but where's the adult here is what I'm saying. That doesn't work well. You're in this situation the night that you get arrested. The police report did say you were drinking that night. Under what set of logic does it make sense? You know you have a volatile, in your mind, rageaholic daughter. I'm not saying she is. I'm just saying that's how you view her, right?
Yes.
So you know in your mind that's what you're dealing with. So you decide, I'm going to physically take her phone from her. She's not going to give it to me, so by God, I'm going to take it away from her.
That would be the only way to punish her, and she would never give up anything. You have to take it away or wait till
Okay,
she sets
how
it
did
down
that
and
work
try
for
to take
you?
it. Well, in that occasion, it didn't work out very well.
You don't see how that leads to a bad result for you.
How else are we supposed to punish her?
Oh, I can think of a couple of thousand ways before I would put myself, as you, Dad, let me be selfish for you. If I'm you, knowing what I'm dealing with, whatever the list of options are, that would be the last one on my list because I know what I'm subjecting myself to. I'm just trying to be selfish on your behalf.
And it was the last option on our list. We have tried everything with Tyler, from grounding to taking her door off the hinges to shutting off Wi-Fi.
So you still think that was a reasonable thing to do in the moment?
Well, I mean, it wasn't the best decision.
How long were you in jail?
3 weeks.
I believe I'd have tried something else before I spent 3 weeks in jail. Come on.
Well, again, we had tried multiple things.
I'm frustrated right now, and I'm not going to wrestle either one of you to the ground because I'm sitting here thinking I've got two parents that I'm trying to get to see that you're putting yourself in harm's way. As a parent, you pick your battles and you pick your battlefields. Wrestling a phone while you're intoxicated and she's emotionally combative, that is neither the battle nor the battlefield.
I agree.
I'm just saying. Next, Tyler's 16-year-old sister and her 14-year-old brother Daniel say their families' lives would simply be better if Tyler would just not be living in the house. Tyler says her parents have brainwashed her siblings into hating her. Well, we're going to meet them after the break. We'll be right back.
Posted something about myself being bisexual, and my father was very rude in his opinions.
Tyler knew my beliefs. Bisexuals are just people who are addicted to lust and will anything, and that really set Tyler off.
My father said that it was a lustful sin and that everybody who was bisexual sickened him.
She responded nasty and negatively, but I'm a born-again Christian. I'm just quoting what the Bible says.
I stood up for myself, and he got really angry with me and stopped talking to me like altogether.
Okay, Dan says he's not speaking to his 18-year-old daughter, Tyler, and told his wife, Stacy, to cut her off. Now, Tyler's 16-year-old sister, Tegan, says Tyler is manipulative, lies, and abuses. Tyler's 14-year-old brother, Daniel, says it would be better if Tyler were just not there right now if she's going to behave in this way. Take a look.
Tyler's been abusive to me for as long as I can remember.
She hit me in the face with a peanut butter jar. I actually went to the ER.
Tyler has said I'm a worthless, stupid bitch, ugly, a screw-up.
Tyler will call me retarded and stupid.
She finds some self-satisfaction in putting other people down to bring herself up.
One time after I called the police on Tyler, she told them I was repeatedly punching her in the face. I've never hit my sister.
My sister has made accusations to the police about my dad molesting her, my parents abusing her and beating her, and none of that is true. Both me and Daniel were talked to by a CPS worker. They kept asking us questions. It was very traumatizing.
Tyler lies about being abused, basically anything that will get her attention. She used to lie about being pregnant until she actually became pregnant.
Tyler being pregnant is a cry for help.
She's not fit for raising a child or anything, including herself.
She just wants attention.
I do not like my sister. I don't want Tyler in my life.
Okay, have you two been brainwashed by your parents, or have you made up your own minds based on your relationship interactions with your sister?
We've made up our own minds based on everything that's happened.
She's mean to you?
Yes.
Why? Why do you think that is?
Because she feels like it.
What do you think about what she's saying today and how she's characterizing things today?
She's lying a lot or leaving things out that are very significant.
Such as?
It was not a crack, it was shattered. The whole entire windshield had to be replaced. If it was just a crack, it could have been fixed. The whole entire windshield was replaced. It was a huge shatter. She did it out of anger.
What do you say about that?
They're lying to you also. First of all, I'd like to talk about the fact that on that video, my sister said that I have called her some names. I have called her names, and I definitely, I'm not gonna lie, have called my brother a retard. She has called me fat, ugly. She's never sworn at me. She's never called me a bitch. I'm sure that I have called her a bitch. I'm not gonna lie about that. But I don't think I have ever told her she's worthless or anything like that. My brother and sister, they don't know it, they don't believe it, but they mean the world to me. I care about them more than I care about myself. I would jump in front of a school bus for them. I would take a bullet for them. And it blows my mind that they hate me so much.
To call someone a retard, as you say, is very inappropriate.
I understand that.
Haven't you?
What's funny about that?
It blows my mind. It really does. I'm not saying I'm not to blame here, but they have all been lying through their teeth to you throughout the interviews on the screens, through talking to you right now, and it just, it honestly is funny to me that they don't have an issue with that at all. I have never, ever in my life accused my dad of sexually molesting me. He did say sexual things to me that day, but that's when I had enough and I got scared and I called the police.
Tyler,
We could ask my older sister.
you were in jail 7 months.
They tried to put me in foster care that night because I was 15, 16 years old. I'm not finished.
Somebody to take you.
I am not.
They made me find somewhere for you to go.
Who took me then, Mom?
A
Because
lady
I'm pretty
from church. You stayed with
That
a lady
was
from
later,
church.
after you came
I had to
home.
immediately find somewhere for you to
You're
go.
wrong. You are wrong, Mom.
So you're saying the police in Georgia let a 16-year-old kid
Stay with a 22-year-old.
She was
How
not
would you
home.
know? You were so drunk you didn't remember a damn
there.
thing.
She wasn't there.
You didn't know who I was.
She was
Do you
gone
realize
all
you
night.
kept calling me
She was
Lacey?
gone all-
Who Lacey, Dad? No.
You were
what
staying.
Oh,
wrong
well,
with your
hey. Watch your mouth. Do not disrespect me or this audience by talking that way here. You either have a clean mouth or you shut up, one of the two.
All right. Well, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. He's lying to you. She's lying to you.
Okay, Stacy refuses to allow Tyler to be alone with her own newborn child. The entire family worries Tyler could go into one of her raging fits, endangering the newborn. Tyler says it is incredibly hurtful that her family believes that she might hurt an infant. We'll talk about that and a baby that's on the way after the break.
Admitted to me that she self-harms to get attention. One time, Tyler threatened to cut her wrist with a razor blade.
She has carved things into her leg, stabbed herself with a pencil. When Tyler pulled out her own hair, I was horrified.
You recognize, because you told me, you have a problem with anger.
Yes.
I've seen that in the last 10 minutes. You obviously have a lot of pent-up anger, and frankly, I'm not saying that there aren't justifiable reasons for it. I totally get that from your point of view, you feel like you're getting blamed for a lot of things that need to be shared, blame-wise, right? I am told, and you have said, that you have been diagnosed with a variety of disorders: bipolar, PTSD, depression, anxiety. Why would you say, I don't feel like dealing with that?
Dealing with what?
All of those disorders.
Because I don't
You don't what?
feel like dealing with it.
You're having a baby.
You have a child on the way.
Yeah, I understand that. Thank you. You just want me to keep on just pushing pills down my throat,
just
especially
deny
when
it
I'm
and
pregnant?
go forward with this anxiety and rage inside of you.
How are you going to get any better, Tyler?
How am I gonna get, exactly, Dad, how am I gonna get any better?
Without trying. You can't just
Pushing
say, well,
pills down
I'm
my
sick of
throat is
trying.
not what I want to do for myself.
What would you like to do?
I'd like to get better, but I don't see that happening. I do not want to continually push medicine down my throat.
So
I understand that you are A-okay with that, but that's not me.
Tyler,
Can I interrupt here?
Of course.
Why did y'all come here?
To try to get help for our family and Tyler.
From?
You.
Yeah.
There are some things I'd like to share with her. If I could jump in here for a second.
By all means.
I totally get what you're saying. I really do. If I'd been taking medications as long as you have, and they had made things worse, not better, I don't think I'd be running towards psychopharmacology either. And based on what I know about what your diagnoses have been and what you've been prescribed, I also agree that it's probably made you worse.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think A, you've been misdiagnosed, and I think B, you've been misprescribed. I agree. I think it's probably made you worse. So I don't disagree with you not wanting to take a bunch of pills. So you and I are on the same side of that. Imagine that. But there's something that I want you to think about. There are certain things that you have to look at and consider as a parent, because I don't want your child to be in jeopardy. Because having been trained as a forensic psychologist, I've been called upon as an officer of the court to render opinions about the fitness of a parent. And while there are some differences, minor differences from state to state, they all generally adhere to these basic 10 principles right here in determining fitness of a parent. And number one is that parent able to provide a safe, stable, and secure environment for the child? And I think right now, the answer for you would be questionable. Number two, maintain a loving, stable, consistent, nurturing relationship with the child. That's unknown. 3, attend to the daily needs of the child. Unknown. Attend to adequate education for the child, not an issue for a while. Provide for the financial support of the child, not right now. Ability to identify and prioritize the needs ahead of your own. At this point, I would have to say that alone disqualifies you as a parent for this baby, because you won't put the child's needs ahead of your own, because you're not taking care of the child's mother. The child's mother,
Because
obviously.
I don't want to take drugs?
That's not what I said. Now, you can set up a paper tiger and tie it down because you want to be a right fighter and you want to argue with me, or you can listen to what I'm telling you and hear something you need to hear. Or you're going to look at this 8.5 months from now, 7.5 months from now, and go, wow, I had a chance to fix this at the time and I didn't listen because I wanted to be smart-ass about it. You want to listen to what I'm telling you here. Assist the child in development and maintenance of appropriate relationships. You can't do that for yourself, let alone for the child. Exercise appropriate judgment regarding their welfare. Your judgment, your relationship management, your impulse control and management, and putting the child's needs ahead of your own would disqualify you because you won't take care of the child's mother. Now, is the alternative to go take a bunch of pills? That's not what I'm saying. That's what you want to hear so you can argue, because that's your default position, is to argue with someone.
May I ask what you're expecting me to do then?
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to tell her exactly what I think she can do to change this situation, and I'm going to tell the family what I think they can do to contribute to this situation. This can get better. We'll be right back. You're having some impulse control disorders. That doesn't mean you're an evil person. It just means you have impulse control disorders. You get really upset quick. You like go from 0 to in like 1.2 seconds. And I think there's a neurological aspect to that. You get neurological pathways in your brain that coincide with anger and rage, and you can default to that, and it's like a racetrack with no exit ramp. You can get into it, and then before you know it, you're punching somebody in the face, or you're knocking a hole in the wall, or you're just screaming. And I think if we could unscrew the top of your head and look in, it would scare us to death. It was like, it's just so busy in there. And there are a lot of things that can be done with that. First off, I think you need to have a very careful and thorough evaluation biochemically, neurologically, brain scan wise, hormonally, everything, so you know where you are, and then get you the alternatives non-medication wise to reprogram yourself so you have control that you don't now have. And that has nothing to do with them, that has to do with you. And I think it would make a huge difference in your life. No medicine. And this family needs some help in terms of family dynamic. Your way of problem solving is not good. That's a nice way of saying horrible. It's not good. You guys are so frustrated, you're so battle worn that you hit a frustration threshold really early. You need some relief. You need some reinforcements here, some new ways of doing things. And I'm willing to make those arrangements for you if you will take that help. And those two damn sure deserve it. They damn sure deserve it. And if I make those arrangements, will you guys immerse yourself in that? Will you do that?
Yes.
Will you take this help I'm offering you?
I have to think about it.
Will you take this help I'm offering you?
I have to think about it. I am telling you, Dr. Phil, we have been through so much, and I don't know if I even want a relationship with these people anymore.
Well,
they're not my family in my book.
Well,
I don't have them.
Then don't, but you still have to take care of yourself so you can take care of your baby. If you never see them again, you still need to have peace in your own life and prepare yourself to give your baby the best chance it has to have a wonderful, vibrant, and happy life. And I'm going to guess that you've not had a better offer.
Okay.
But listen, if you don't want to do it, I totally get it, because I want to do this with you, not to you. This is something I'm offering you to do. I'm not trying to make you do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. I'm wanting to do this with you, not to you. I'm saying, hey, let me help you out here.
I know. I'll do it. I don't want to, but
Well, if you change your mind, don't do it. But I'm guessing, like I say, it's probably the best offer you've had, and your baby sure deserves it. If you love your baby, and I know you do, take care of her mom. Okay? Take care of your mom. I'm not judging you. I'm offering to help you. And that's kind of hard to pick apart, right? Okay. Fair enough? Okay. Okay. We'll get her to do this. It'll make a difference.